These are all members of the mustard or cabbage family. Right in the front is kohlrabi, and then we have cabbage, and then right here where I'm standing we have the cauliflower, and then in the back row is broccoli, and that at least 4 members of the cabbage family.
Is it all ready for us to harvest?
There are, yes, there are individuals here that are ready, yes.
Are there special techniques that we could benefit from you showing us?
Yes. For instance, let's start in the front row and look at the kohlrabi. There's one here that is about 2.5 inches in diameter. Now I'm going to just cut it at the base with my knife, with a sharp knife, so as not to disturb the others. We planted a little thick so that we could do this, and you harvest some when it's quite young. And that's all there is to the harvesting.
Just cut it off.
Cut it off, right, and then take off all of the petioles and leaves like this.
Well, what
that's
is
ready.
kohlrabi? It's not very common.
No, it's its flavor is much like, well, it's similar to cauliflower. It's a very mild flavor, very tender, and is a boiled vegetable, used as a boiled vegetable or steamed.
Like cauliflower?
Yes.
Cook it the same way, I mean?
That's right, yes. We steam it and cut it into little 1/4 to 1/2 inch cubes, and it makes a nice little boiled vegetable or steamed vegetable on a plate.
Can you buy it at the supermarket here?
I haven't seen it. No, it's rather rare. It's difficult to grow and to as a vegetable commercially because it's ready, and you have to get it when it's very tender and nice. It's quite perishable. I imagine that's the reason that more people don't appreciate it.
How do you season it?
I'm not sure. You'd have to. I just just a touch of salt. Then the other thing that's ready is cabbage. These are the stonehead variety, and to find out which cabbage heads are ready, you just pinch lightly on the surface or press with your thumb, and you can tell which ones are ready. Now,
what are you looking for when you're pressing?
Firmness. When the center of the head is firm, then the head will be firm all the way down through and fully enlarged. This one is probably the hardest of these. Cabbage does not mature at all the same rate, so that's the reason we do this. Okay, I'm going to cut, leaving at least 3 or 4 of these so-called wrapper leaves. Now, you just sever the head down there, and I leave a couple of these wrapper leaves on because.
Why did you leave some in the ground?
Well, if we're going to clean that out, of course, when the cabbage is done. If you leave part of the plant and we continue to have moist, sufficient rain, little cabbages will sprout around there, and sometimes you can get the little sprouts, you know, as you're waiting for the others to mature. So that's the only reason I left that, really. But there you are, and you can store this with a couple of wrapper leaves, and it helps to keep the head leaves fresher. And that's quite a heavy little head. That's about a 2-pound,
nice.
pound and a half, 2-pound head. It's very solid.
You store that in the refrigerator?
Yes, we'd just clean it up, wash it, and store it just like that in a plastic bag.
What about the cauliflower?
Okay, the cauliflower, let's start here with one that is almost ready but hasn't been tied. This is how it grows, and as you can see, it's not pure white. It has sort of a yellowish or light greenish cast to it. And so when the curd, or the head of the cauliflower, is fully expanded, which will be at about the 4 to 6 inch stage of growth, and before it starts to turn very much, you simply fold the leaves together so that you can no longer see the head, the top of the head, and then tie them. Now we've got one over here that was tied last week, and I will just we'll cut this off again down below down below the head, because we can trim off any excess foliage afterwards. Then we'll simply untie it just to see how it worked out. And there we have it. We'll just strip the...
I had no idea the cauliflower took so much space to grow.
Yes, it's not quite as productive per square foot of ground as broccoli would be, but yes, it takes about 2 feet between the plants in order to get, well, we've got about 2 to 3 pounds of cauliflower there.
Bed. Look at that.
Yeah.
That's gorgeous.
I just, you know, again, these are all stored in the same way, as cool as possible without freezing them.
Leave some of these leaves
Yeah,
on.
I just leave a couple of those on, and then if you trim too closely, then you'll have to trim excessively when you go to prepare a dish.
I think we have just time to harvest a little broccoli.
Okay, the same thing with the broccoli. It does not mature all at the same rate, so we'll just take one, which is the biggest, and we cut it down below the head, but leaving the leaves. Now, we don't want to injure those leaves because we will have little sprouts. You can see the little sprout.
I see it.
Those will come ahead and make little heads 2 to 3 inches in diameter. So there's their broccoli. And you harvest when you start to see the little buds enlarging, but before they start to spread apart. These are all little individual flowers. So the proper time to harvest the broccoli is when these have enlarged so that they're all about a 1/16 of an inch in diameter, but before the petals start to spread.
And it seems like we just planted the garden, and look at this, we're harvesting all this already. Dr. Roberts, thanks a lot. We have to take a break now. I'll be back right after this.